if there was better opposition playing and the way Durds went about his footy, I look at it and go, that's a performance. That's a performance worth talking about.
Well, what I really liked from Durden was he had some intent around his pressure inside 50, which was good. He laid a big tackle in the second quarter. But I also liked that he stayed down as a small forward at the feet of Charlie. He, in the past, has really... it's been really frustrating to watch him in the past go up in packs. And it's like, mate, it's not your role. Like, stay on the ground, use your speed, use your pace. And he did a couple of times and it worked out. And I think if he can just start to add those strings to his bow, get a bit of confidence in his body, get the consistency under his legs in actually playing week, because the injuries have killed him over the years. If he can get some consistency and play week by week, I think there might still be something there with Durds.
Well, there's opportunity now for him with our injuries as well.
I'll put it this way. For me, I'm very positive about the group, and I'm very positive about a player like Durden. I feel like as if he has a lot of the attributes to be able to play as a very, very good small forward. He can kick 20 plus in a season if he plays. Yeah, for sure. Easy. Right. Easy.
But that's what you need. You need your smalls to kick 20 or 30.
But he hasn't been able to. He hasn't been able to stay on the park. Okay, and you have a look at it. Obviously, Williams been moved forward. Obviously, he went to halfback last week because of certain injuries in the team. But now, again, gone back forward because Carroll's come in. You look at Motts. You look at Durden. How much footy do you reckon they've played together?
Yeah, not much.
Barely anything.
I think was it Voss that said it in his presser?
They've barely played together. Yeah. Even like Harry and Charlie, like really, like if one of them's been in, one of them has been out early on. Then they played probably 2 seasons together, but it probably wasn't in its entirety because Harry was out as well with a knee injury or a shoulder and so on as well in patches for 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks.
Yeah, it hasn't been a lot of continuity.
So there hasn't been a lot of continuity.
Elijah Holland's not there now.
Exactly. Yeah. Elijah as well. Fantasia. These players, they've barely played with each other.
Yeah, it's true.
You have a look at Hawthorn. Like they're small forwards. They've probably in terms of the games footed together.
Well, Watson and Ginnivan, I don't think they've missed a game together.
That's what I'm saying.
Since Watson came into the league.
Which was when? Last year.
Yeah.
Correct. So they've played 25-ish games, or maybe more actually now, probably borderline 30 games together.
Yeah.
Do you reckon Motts and Durds and stuff have played 30 games together?
No chance.
Not a chance.
No.
Consistently too. It's not like as if they're broken up.
No, that's true. If there can be a little bit more consistency, absolutely. I think that helps. Another one to talk about, we'll stick with the forward line for now. What did you make of Charlie's game? So he kicked 2 goals for. But what did you make of his role?
He was higher up the ground.
Yeah, and what do you think?
He was definitely higher up the ground. Early on, he was picking, he was actually probably cleaner going inside 50 than anyone else.
He's probably our best inside 50.
Definitely.
I think they mentioned during the telecast, I think he's the best
in the comp.
Best in the comp kicking inside 50.
Yeah.
Well,
you could see it. As soon as he got his hands on the footy, he was able to hit up.
I didn't think that would be the case.
Yeah, I mean, how many times did he do it though? Really?
But I know,
so it's based on efficiency, yeah? So you could have 10, hit 9, and then he's the best in the comp.
You'd still rather that, would you not? You'd rather 9 out of 10 than 9 out of 20.
I think someone like Charlie, you need to keep him involved.
Yes, no,
I think you need to keep Charlie involved. And if that's how you do, then that's how we need to play him.
I actually think he did well creating space. I know it's against a pretty lackluster backline, but I think it was the first time I'd seen Charlie leading at the ball for a long time, steaming for it, give me the footy, he was commanding it. Obviously, I feel like with him and a couple of others, like Walsh, we'll get into in a minute, and I want you to comment on this too, but with as much footy as they've missed and the interrupted pre-seasons and the surgeries and just cleaning up a few things, maybe it just takes a little bit more time than what we initially would have given them to get their legs under them. And I'm hoping that now, a month in, they're match fit, they're game, they're tactically aware again, and they know how to
It's what Jules had said. The club didn't think, or they did not anticipate we're going to be in this situation with how Walsh's body's now. So you know what I mean? Like Walsh, they pushed his pre-season back. What was it, a month?
I think it was a month.
Was it about a month? They pushed his pre-season?
Yeah. 4 to 6 weeks, I think it was.
Yeah, they pushed his pre-season back. So his body would probably physically be ready now. And it's probably what you're seeing for his prepreration.
Yeah, but plus they would have thought they would have probably bet Richmond at least.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Plus maybe Western Bulldogs. So
they were expecting
to be in a different position.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
All right. So
with how they've managed these type of players.
On Charlie, I like him playing higher up the ground. Trust me, if there's anyone here that's going to like it, I've said it for quite a bit.
Yeah.
The only difference is, I think in games, I mean, like he's played higher up the ground, he still had 6 scoring shots. Like,
yeah, that's right.
Do you know what I mean? Like he's played higher up the ground and still had 6 scoring shots,
which is good.
You know,
it's good. And I mean, his set shot kicking, it was a bit frustrating that he missed a couple of sitters, really. But again, that probably just comes down to getting his feet under him. He's missed a lot of footy. People forget he was out since the Hawks game last year. Missed round 1, interrupted preseason, surgery on that knee, like 2-3 weeks out from.
Nah, he'll come good. It's just about also, I feel like, as if when Harry does come back again, in a couple of weeks' time.
You want to talk about continuity? They need some continuity now together because they are missing a lot of footy, like between them. They're just I feel like we have not been able to get them on the park for a long stretch since the back half. Well, even the back half of 2023, Harry was injured when we made that run. Like, we just have not been able to get them playing consistent footy together. And if we're any chance. Yeah,
but him being out now has been for a different reason.
Yeah, I know. And now he's out with a concussion. There's a concussion, so poor timing.
These are things
again.
It's not down to conditioning or injuries or
No. Well, no, not this time. But Harry has been injured in the past. Knee.
Yeah.
Charlie had his knee. With soft tissue, Charlie with the ankle. Like, they just have not been able to gel and mesh as the 2 spearhead key forwards that we need. Because it allows, if Charlie's going to play up the ground, Harry plays out of the goal square.
Yeah.
We still didn't get to see that against West Coast and what that might look like. So, I mean, I'm optimistic if they can start to string some games together, but Harry's going to miss Friday again. Concussion. Probably taking a little bit of time to get up and running again from a concussion. That can take a little bit of time. Comes in against Geelong. Like, that's at least another month now for Harry to get his legs under him, the way that I'm looking at it. After missing so much footy, concussion as well, having to come back into the side. So you're probably not going to see the best of Charlie and Harry together until GWS or until the mid-season bye at this point, that's just the reality.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Walsh. Obviously had probably his best game for the year for a long time. Obviously, and just keeping the context that he had more space. He might as well have brought his own footy because no one wanted to chase him all day from the West Coast outfit. But it is a game that hopefully Walshy can take a bit of form from and start to string together a few. You want to talk about or expand on what you were talking about before?
I sort of touched on it before. Just, I think I messaged both of you. Did I message you, Jules, about it? Saying about, seeing his body actually, or him trust his body now. Given his delayed preseason, him coming into a bit like obviously through that game, I think we'll see Walsh perform a lot better now from this point on than what we'd seen. I think we're going to see a lot more impact from Walsh.
Obviously, because of his conditioning, he probably wasn't able to get to the outside space to get the uncontested possession. So that's obviously why he was a bit more contested early on. But you've seen it, like in the first 3 rounds.
Oh, sorry.
In the first 3
What's
rounds.
going on with it?
Audio. Hold on. I'm not sure where that audio. I'm not sure what's going on with the audio tonight. I do apologise, but we'll get it sorted.
Especially in the first 3 rounds, he was heavily more contested. It was like 2/3 contested and 1/3 uncontested. Where last week, I think it was like 1/3 contested, 2/3 of his possessions were uncontested. Even this week, it was a lot more as well.
He just looked like he was moving better. It's not working.
No, it's the cord's just not super long. It's definitely your mic.
Okay, so what do I do?
I don't know. Just be careful. Don't move it.
Okay,
don't touch it.
He was definitely moving better. You could see. You could see the way in which he was moving. He looked like he was labouring round 1, round 2. Like he just didn't look. He hasn't looked himself for a while. So I think from the way he was moving and getting up the ground and getting from contest to contest, I think now physically, I would hope that he really trusts his body and what it can do. So we can finally get that Sam Walsh that we know produce absolute quality.
It's a conversation we've had in the past. Obviously, looked like he played a little bit more of an outside role in this one, and he did line up on the wing a couple of times. Is it the move that they've just got to make now? Like, I don't know. I mean, we've spoken about this countless times, me and you, and you still believe he's better as an inside mid. His running capacity just tells me he should be an outside player. But he looks more composed when he's getting uncontested possession. He looks more composed when he's not getting beat up in the contest for 90 minutes of the game. I don't know. I feel like at this point we're pretty lackluster for outside run and for wingers. He's all class. He's done it before. He's polled 30 Brownlow votes on a wing in his second season. It just baffles me that we've got a player that's got that ability to run out on the outside of the contest, receive the ball, have a bit of polish when he's got time and space, and we're not utilising him. We'd rather turn him into an inside mid with the back injury that he's got as well, that he's probably going to carry for the rest of his career.
Nah, for me, I don't know. Maybe if you had another Walsh, I would probably play him on a wing.
But do we not with Chera?
Nah, because Walsh moves better. That's the reason why. So Chera might have a good kick or, at least in terms of numbers, but Walsh has the ability, and he's the player where it should be a TDK, Cripps or Hewitt or Chera receive the ball.
Walsh
and then Walsh, forward of centre, he's running from the contest. That's what it should be. He should be the
Forward
last
of the stoppage.
Yeah, correct.
Well, that's still an outside role.
Yeah, but he's starting in the midfield four.
Yeah, but he's not the inside mid that's extracting.
No.
Yeah, okay.
No. He's always
that I agree with.
player
That I agree with.
receiving, so then he can use his breakaway speed and his running capacity to get to the next contest before his direct opponent or opponents.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what he is. And he's getting the ball on the outside so then he can hit up targets. That's the type of midfielder he is. And you can see it in the numbers. Like, that's what he's been able to do. Now it's just whether he can continue on with it because, like we said, it's against the West Coast. But obviously North Melbourne's obviously, their midfield's obviously half decent, at least in terms of if you're going to go their forward, mid and defence, arguably their midfield is their best part of their team. So, and it's probably not even close. So next week will probably be a very, very good discussion around how he's tracking anyway, I feel.
Thoughts? Wing, front of stoppage, inside?
Listen,
can you comment on it from more from the perspective of his body?
I know what you're saying.
And longevity.
You're trying to protect the body that Walsh has.
The longevity, yeah.
Because him being contest to
it is your mic.
It's bad.
Sorry, folks.
It's because it's blink.
Dan's mic is it's just playing up a little bit tonight. Do apologise. Can you comment?
I think because it's pulling.
It is. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
Around the table.
It's all right. Just comment from in terms of like a longevity perspective with him in terms of that.
But are you saying you're saying that because
for fuck's sake. This is
Joe. You're gonna have to fix it from there.
This is shitting me tonight. Yeah, try it. Just comment.
Go, keep going.
Comment and I'll
just say what I was going to say.
No, you go. You go.
Can I talk?
Yeah.
Is it working? Yeah. No, I know what Joe's trying to say because Joe's thinking about his body, his back in particular, being able to handle that the contested side of the game, like the tackles. Do you know what I mean? So you're essentially preserving his body for longer. But Jules's point is that are you getting as much out of him in that role?
You're not in terms of that's what
you're trying to say.
Well, especially what he's built for the team.
You're saying, irrespective of preserving or not, you're saying that in that role, you're not getting enough out of Walsh.
With Cripps, for example,
he's not as involved.
When Cripps was battered, what were you saying then? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
different player though. Cripps doesn't have the running capacity that Walsh does.
Yeah, but then Cripps doesn't play again. You understand what I'm trying to say? So, you can't just say, "Oh, let's move him."
All I know is he had his best season of footy, statistically, votes wise, coaches' votes, players' votes, Brownlow, everything. When he was not just at the front of stoppage, but when he was purely a winger.
When did he win his Gary Ayres?
Well, he was still on the outside. Yeah, well, that's where he was on the outside of the stoppage in 2023.
That's what I'm saying.
He wasn't inside.
That's him.
I think we're
but outside of the stoppage is
it's not.
It's not outside as what you're saying.
No, but
you're saying outside out, like Joe's saying wing.
Yeah, but wing is pretty for him. I feel
you've just protected yourself, because
I feel like wing.
Yeah,
I feel like wing is too.
You're saying wing, you're not saying outside of the context.
I am saying.
Jules is saying he's inside mid.
That's why you see him out on a half forward and he rolls up and so on. But as a winger, I feel like that constrains him so much in terms of his ability.
It's two different roles.
What he has.
I am saying I would prefer him as a half forward wing, preferably. But I would settle for him on the outside of stoppage. I don't want to see him in and under extracting. That's what we've seen, and trying to burst away and getting tackled, and he's the one laying tackles.
That's
every
up to
other
the
game.
midfield unit, though. You're talking positionally. Do you know what I mean? That's up to the midfield.
Yeah.
That's up to the
I'm
midfield.
saying I would
Yours is a
settle, I would
positional
settle
thing.
for that rather than an inside mid. That's not an inside mid, what you're talking about. It's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's
As a
not.
role, it is.
It is because he's playing in the 4. He's playing
That's
in the
right.
4.
Fucking hell,
You got
these
TDK,
fucking
Walsh,
lights, man.
Walsh, Hewitt, and Cripps. The only difference is where he's receiving the ball.
Yeah.
That's his role as an inside. His role as an inside mid is to get the ball like forward of the stoppage, to then kick the ball inside 50.
Yeah.
Yours is a wing role.
Like, for example, when Warner goes inside, like in the 4, or if you get a small forward, like how Motts does, or even Durds did on the weekend, like you don't want them to be getting extracting the ball. No, you got Cripps, you got Hewitt, you got Chera. They extract and they dish it out to the outside players that can actually run. That's the link. That's how it's supposed to be. Like for example, in soccer, you got the players number 10s coming into the half spaces. Like, you don't want, the number 6 to go into those spaces. You want the midfielder who can actually pick a pass.
I think we can agree he's better getting uncontested ball though. Yes or no?
Yes.
He's better
100%.
receiving.
Yeah, of course.
And that's the main point I was trying to say. Speaking of midfielders, George Hewitt, he could be potentially leading our BNF at this point. I reckon.
He would be, definitely.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Honestly, this audio tonight is genuinely killing me. George Hewitt, are you touching the cord? or anything? I don't know whose it is then. George Hewitt could be leading our BNF at this point. He probably is, to be honest. If it's not Wiedering, I think.
Mr. Consistent.
Yeah.
At the moment.
No, that was 39. I think that might be his highest disposal game ever, 39. But he's doing it every week. Clearance king, in and under. He's running both ways, defending. He's doing everything. And if we can get 23, 24 games out of George like that, it's going to hold us in.
You only have
stead as
one
midfield
tackle,
unit.
though.
Yeah, I know, but you can't do it all. Come on, man.
It's against West Coast.
It actually could be the
Yeah?
laptop. That's a really good point. Gav just made a good point. It could be the laptop.
Oh, Angels.
Of course it's a laptop. Get a new laptop, man.
No, I don't think it's a laptop. All those cords are plugged in. Anyway, so that's George. Last one that I want to talk about, Matt Carroll. Now, it didn't set the world on fire in terms of racking up disposals.
No,
However,
yeah.
he is a player that needs to play with that intent every week. He pulls the trigger quicker than anyone on our team.
Very good by foot.
And pulls the trigger with first decision
Very good.
each time. Nails it.
Very good.
I want to see Matt Carroll every single week doing that off a halfback. Said to you before the show, I want Jordan Boyd on the opposite flank doing the exact same thing. Because then you've got 2 outlet kicks off your halfback that are pulling the trigger to the corridor that don't care. They back themselves in to hit that target.
This is where selection and integrity around selection becomes important, because you're not just dropping a Matt Carroll because he's not a Doherty, for example. You know where I'm going with this?
I 100% agree with you.
Because someone like a Matt Carroll it's a lot easier to drop him, okay, than it is to get rid of an Akers or a Doc or a Gov. So I think selection, integrity around performances and around what we need becomes very, very important now.